So the next example will be subtracting expressions with different denominators. So what is the difference of 3 over d minus 1 minus 2 over d plus 2? Obviously, these expressions have different denominator. So we're gonna find first the LCD. So this is d minus 1, which can no longer be simplified. It's d minus 1. And then d plus 2, which can no longer be simplified as d plus 2 also. Okay? Since there is no common factor between d minus 1 and d plus 2, you can bring down d minus 1 and d plus 2. Please do not cancel d, because when you cancel d, automatically the negative 1 and positive 2 will also be cancelled out. Or d there is not a common factor between d minus 1 and d plus 2 because the operation is addition and subtraction. So the LCD would be equal to d minus 1 d plus 2. So you divide this one, so it's d minus 1 d plus 2. You divide it by d minus 1, then you can cancel this one. You are being left with d plus 2. You multiply it by the numerator, so it's 3d plus 2 minus this one, it's d minus 1 and then d plus 2. You divide it by d plus 2. You can cancel that, which means you are being left with d minus 1. You multiply it by the numerator, 2d minus 1. Okay, so this is d minus 1, d plus 2. Distribute this. 3 times d is 3d. 3 times 2, that is positive 6. Negative 2 times d, that's negative 2d. Negative 2 times negative 1, it's positive 2. Combining similar term, you can combine 3d minus 2d, that's d or 1d. 6 plus 2, that is positive 8, over d minus 1, d plus 2. Since there is no common factor between the numerator and the denominator, then that will be the final answer. Okay, so for the practice exercises, you answer this one, and then you can work on your classwork in MathXL. Classwork name is Subtraction of Rational Expressions.